Alright people, Mike Salden here again. Welcome back to another Demon Souls video. Today, because there was a free online PS Plus session for Sony on PS5, some event they were running, I decided I would try to get these two Demon Souls trophies that I really hadn't been able to get because I don't pay for online. Because I'm really not into multiplayer or co-op or anything like that. But I decided because there was a free weekend happening that I would jump on, try to invade someone and get this trophy, the Unwelcome Guest, which is for invading someone and defeating them in battle. Now that you will notice, this is the most low-skilled gameplay of all time. I'm really bad at these games in general, never mind having to fight another real-world player. So this will be the most stupid looking fight of all time probably. People will be very frustrated watching this. Also a quick note, there will be healing during this duel. The other guy decided to heal and I was like, well, if he's healing I'm gonna heal. Because I thought the protocol was that when you invade someone, it's like bad form to heal yourself or for your opponent to heal. So when he decided to do that, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna munch all the grass I have as well, because I really needed to get this trophy today because it's only a one-day event where it's free online, and again, I never really pay for PS Plus. So I was like, okay, I've got to do this now, got to beat this guy. It's one of the first people I've been able to actually invade where the host didn't like disconnect or the connection didn't fail or whatever, and I was like, right, I just have to beat this guy. It doesn't matter how long it takes to whittle him down. I'm going to stand here, throw magic at him, throw fire bombs, just annoy him as much as possible until he starts making mistakes and I can hopefully do some damage to him. I was a magic character mainly. And magic is really not good for dueling, as long as you're like fighting another warrior type character. But I did have a scimitar, a 2+ scimitar, which inflicts bleed, I think. So I started trying to use it, as well as occasionally throwing some fireballs at him, or whatever I could. And then I started noticing that he didn't seem to really know how to parry or how to avoid backstabs. So after a while I started realizing that it would be a good idea to sort of get in some backstabs on him. There he goes healing again, which was always very annoying, but since I was doing the same thing, it was like, well, what do I expect? But again, if you watch the very start of the video, he decided to heal first. And really, I didn't really mind if this was a really stupid duel where none of us neither of us were not following the Dark Souls sort of rules. No bowing to each other, no professional gameplay, just running around, trying to hit each other with whatever we can. Healing as often as possible. Every time he healed, I decided I would heal. That was the kind of etiquette I decided to go for. I noticed he wasn't really doing that much damage to me with a lot of his attacks, so I wasn't ever that completely afraid of this opponent. Because his big fire attack there, like, it didn't seem to really wear me down that much. And I seemed to notice that I was doing a fair bit of damage to him whenever I did manage to get some hits on him. And then I started realizing that I had these blue orb magic attacks that I didn't really know where they were coming from, but they started helping me out. I think it's whatever part of the game this is, I'm being summoned to act as like a mini boss for another player or something. And I'm getting called the Old Monk. I think that's what's going on here. Again, I'm pretty new to Demon Souls. I never played it back in the day. I managed to parry him there. I should have finished him off at that moment. Really got in there and just wheeled on him with the sword, but I was so stunned that I'd managed to parry someone that I sort of wasted that opportunity. But at that moment I did realise, this guy doesn't seem to know what parrying is, or how to avoid it really, so I could maybe take advantage of that. And if he doesn't know what parrying is, I'm pretty sure he's gonna not be aware that if I can get a good backstab on him, that does a load of damage as well. So I was getting more confident now. And it was just really a war of attrition at this point. Who was gonna crack first and just sort of make a huge slip up. Again, just running around each other in circles. I'm trying to get behind him because I've realised that he doesn't seem to know backstabbing or parrying, and getting a nice visceral attack on people does some serious damage. So yeah, I kept wearing him down all the time, and then he would eventually heal. See there, I got a nice backstab. Again, this was the second time where I should have just completely wheeled on him. But he rolled away. He got in that attack. My blue magic was scaring him up there, and I couldn't quite get to him before he healed and get another backstab in there. But again, that was my strategy at this point, sort of get behind him or try to parry him, because he seemed susceptible to those kinds of attacks. Again, anyone else probably watching this, they're probably like really good at PvP or whatever, and they were like, you could have finished this guy off 10 minutes ago. And it's like, yeah, you probably could, but you really need to understand this is like the first proper invasion in the Souls games that I've ever done, like against a real other player. I was kind of proud of myself for managing to survive this really lengthy fight. With such low level gameplay as I'm able to provide people. Again, I kept noticing he was doing this fire attack on me, and it really wasn't doing that much damage. And I'd wasted so much grass at this point, but I didn't care, because I was like, I'm just gonna go back and buy a load of grass once I get back to the Nexus. Got another backstab on him there. And I was like, okay, backstabbing and parrying does seem to be the method. And I knew eventually I would have to get him with one of those and really get his health low. Then he'd start panicking, hopefully, and then I could just wheel on him with the scimitar. I was getting a bit impatient at this time, so I was letting my health go way down. And then again, I was at this point, the fight had been going on so long, I was sort of trying to bait him into getting more aggressive and really like sort of swinging wildly at me. I noticed he hadn't healed for a while here, so I was thinking he must be really low on grass at this point. And I didn't have much grass left either. So I was like, okay, I've just got to get this done now. This is kind of getting ridiculous. This fight's going on so long. So I got another backstab in on him. And then started wheeling on him again. I knew he was going to run away to heal, so I tried to stay on him. And then he did manage to heal again, so I was wrong about my theory of him having not a lot of grass left. But I knew he was vulnerable because I kept being able to backstab him, and he hadn't seemed to be able to deal with that well. So we got another backstab on him again. And this time he seemed to get pretty mad. He started doing whatever that blue sorcery thing was. Got another backstab on him. I was getting pretty confident now because I kept reliably being able to backstab him without any sort of real comeback from him. He got very aggressive after that backstab, and then I just wheeled on him until he was taken out. Then I gave him a little round of applause because it was a pretty impressive duel that he managed to last 10 minutes against like someone as terrible as me. So yeah, I knocked out the trophy and was very happy to get that done.